Hey everybody, how you doing? George Petrus here. Today I'm going to do a video showing you my pedal board rundown. And basically this is the setup that I use at shows. Well, that I used to use at shows before COVID. But we were lucky and played a few outdoor shows at the end of the summer, and we've actually have a few shows coming up this spring. So things are looking up, thank goodness. But we do have a live stream coming up in a few months too, so things are starting to happen. But in the meantime, I want to show you guys my pedal board. And basically, it's going to start on this side, and the first thing that I come into is my chromatic tuner, which is a Boss. And basically, I always try to have a Boss out front because it also works as a buffer. So it's buffered instead of true bypass. And basically, these two pedal boards are separated. But my first pedal board, I want to have something that's buffered. It's going to push the other pedals through a little bit and give it a little more signal. So basically, it starts with the Boss tuner. And then this spot right here is a spot that I switch out a lot. This is basically my overdrive spot. Right now, it's the dark matter, which is basically just a... it's just a little dirt. Or sometimes I'll throw that on top basically my that's my overdrive spot. Right now it's the dark matter, but that gets changed out a lot. And then from there we go into the wah, which is the Dimebag. This thing, that's a great wah. Let's throw some dirt on there. There's that. And then from the wah, we go into the small stone. And right now I have it set to a high speed. Okay, let me cut my gate off here. Sometimes I'll slow that down, and we'll get like a... So that's pretty cool. Sometimes I have this cool sound where I do that on a new song. And we actually have this guy in here, the Sitar. So that's another way I use the small stone. That's a recent sound that I'm using. Okay, and then next in line, a very interesting pedal, the Philosopher King, which is basically a compressor. So I will use that to get like super sustain. I've got the sustain way up, so I can just basically hold a note forever. Okay, another thing we do, let me get some of that, so much gain on that amp. Another thing we do with this is swells, which is really cool. And then check this out. You can make a stutter effect with the fade. Down the line here. All right. And that's the Philosopher kit. Lots of fun stuff with that. Had that for a few years. It was expensive, but it's a great pedal. I think it was worth it. Okay, next I have another buffer. Okay, and basically I try to have a buffer at the beginning and the end. Basically this board here is the front end of my amp. I do the 4-cable method, so basically I have some effects going to the front of the amp, and then I have effects going in my effects loop. So this here is my run out to the amp in the front of the house, and this is in the front of the amp. This is a Klone Sitar buffer. Basically, somebody copied the Klone Sitar buffer and they put it in this little thing. It's pretty cool. I covered up the label on it, but I forget who makes it. It was some random company in Pittsburgh. They made this and like a fuzz pedal that you just plugged in. It was pretty cool, but I like it. You know, I put it in there and it pushes it back up after I lose some of the tone in here, cleans it up, and it's definitely got a lot of character. The Klone buffer is not a clean buffer, so it's definitely got just a little bit of something in there more than just a buffer. You know, it's got some grit and a little tone. Okay, then we come over here. Now, essentially, this pedal board is a switcher, and what I have is underneath it is let's see if we can get under here without ripping everything apart. Underneath it there is the power supply and all the cords and stuff. So this is a pretty cool thing to have, and basically what it does is when I'm not using the other pedals, I can program them into different banks, and the ones I'm not using, they'll be completely out. So I don't have to be I'm not going to be going through all these pedals at once all the time, so I can just go through one or two and knock the other ones out. But one way I use this is normally you plug it in underneath, and I didn't like that. And the jacks are plastic, so what I did was I ran a pedal in the front and on the end that aren't in the loops. So this is always in, and this is another boss as a buffer on the front end. And then this Immerse Reverb on the other end is buffered as well. It has a buffered out, and that's on the end. So those are my buffers for my effects loop pedals. And basically I start out with the EQ, which I just used a little bit of a low cut on. a little bit. So sometimes if I'm using like a heavy sound, and clean it up. That's without it. It just takes a little bit of the bottom out and cleans it up. Sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. It depends on the situation and the sound of the room I'm playing. Sometimes I need to thin it out a little. I'll use that. Okay, from there, now this stuff, since it's in a loop, basically there's no particular order. They are in a certain order in the loop, but you can mix them all up. So, but basically my delays here and here are towards the end, and then right before that I'll have my modulation, like my chorus and my the nano mistress here, the flanger. So the next thing in line here is the Echoplex, and basically this is my solo boost, and this is another pedal that's kind of like you can use as a buffer, but basically I got this thing and it's basically the front end of an Echoplex, and it's a really cool solo lead. I'll give you a sample of that. So if I'm doing a solo, see now I kick it in. Basically, I'm just getting when I hit my solos, I'll pop that in. So that's pretty cool. Alright, so next, I think we hit our sitar after that in line. So, again, I demonstrated that a little earlier. It's a pretty cool effect. I like to add it to clean effects because it's almost got like a drone thing going on. So that's pretty cool. And I have a few program sounds in there. So that's pretty cool. That is the Ravish Sitar. Okay. And then next we have the Nano Mistress. I have in bank 4, and that is a flanger. That thing's an awesome pedal. And then, of course, the gate. Gotta have the gate. I'm playing EVH right now, and that thing has so much fucking gain. It's insane. So without it, turn this reverb off. Look at that, huh? Beautiful gate. So look to that. There we go. It's pretty good with the tight spots. pretty cool. Without it, it's definitely humming away. Okay, and then we have the pitchfork. I use that for harmonies. Then we got the chorus. I have the chorus. I have this thing out of the loops, and I have this always in. Because it's one pedal that I love, and I like to turn it out a lot, so. I mean, everybody loves the chorus. That super chorus, the Boss super chorus, is just such a beautiful sounding chorus. I think that was from like the 90s. With that one, so the super chorus by Boss. And then we have our MXR Carbon Copy, which is my go-to analog like delay. It's like very subtle, it's very in the background. Just a tiny bit. I'll do that for like a clean. And then my intense delay, which is when I do some crazy sounds. Like sometimes we do some slow comes. I'll put that on with the Philosopher kit and just be like. That thing, I'll tell you what, when I get all those pedals going with the Philosopher key now, there's so much feedback going on that you have to turn it off right away or you're going to get a lot of hits. So the trick is to turn that off before you stop playing on that one. But my last but not least, I got this about a year ago, the Immerse, and this thing is just amazing. It is such a pristine reverb. Got this really good shimmer. Really cool. That's it. I could keep going, but I'll tell you, that's my setup, guys. This is Music by the Numbers. My band is 3 Points of Madness, and this is my crazy pedal board setup. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit the subscribe button. Have a good one.